I couldn't sleep, right? So I woke up this morning and I was like, I need to think of a topic that I want to cover today. I wanted to get back to the workout and also the motivation aspect of what I do. And so what I thought about, it's important to at least think about staying motivated. So I'm going to talk about that the whole time I work out today. Let's live this undefeated life, y'all. I typically start my workout starting out with push-ups, and these are short-range push-ups. And you're going to the gym, you're consistent. Now you're tracking your progress. Good morning, family. Welcome to Undefeated Lifestyle, where I live an undefeated life, and I'm here to motivate you for travel, fitness, and also living the best life. And listen, for those who, if this is your first time visiting my channel, listen, I definitely suggest that you go ahead and join the family, and also all of my returning family, salute. Hey, listen, I woke up this morning and I was just thinking to myself, you know what? I couldn't sleep, right? So I woke up this morning and I was like, I need to think of a topic that I want to cover today. Of course, I have a lot of, or lately, a lot of travel videos. Got to check them out. Whole lot of fun. Also, Auntie came to town from Philly. We had a whole lot of fun. But I wanted to get back to the workout and also the motivation aspect of what I do. And so what I thought about, it's important to at least think about staying motivated. Right. So what do you do to stay motivated? Because sometimes, I mean, you're going to have those days where, you just don't feel like getting up early in the morning. It's 5 o'clock in the morning here and I'm getting a workout, but you just don't feel motivated. You don't feel motivated in terms of eating healthy all the time. That's why I talk about my cheat days. Check out that video if you haven't already. But let's talk about that. So I'm going to talk about that the whole time I work out today. Let's live this undefeated life, y'all. Okay, family, I typically start my workout starting out with push-ups, and these are short-range push-ups. And one would take a look at it. Hey, you're not doing the full length. No. The whole point is short-range push-ups. It's all about that tension. So I try to knock out as many as I possibly can. But if you're doing this, you're definitely going to get a good lift. Also, the next thing I do is my hammer curls. And so with the hammer curls, as you can see, there's 25-pound weight. And it's definitely a burnout. And I say it's a burnout mainly because I'm trying to do a total of 25 curls on each arm. But if you're doing 25 curls on each arm, definitely you're going to feel that burn. Okay, I'm stepping to the stage, and as I step to the stage, I'm getting ready to engage in my rear delt dumbbell flies. So part of my warm-up in the morning, I like to get some of the rear delt dumbbell flies in. This is a heck of a workout. I love working shoulders, by the way, and it just so happens that rear delt flies is one of my favorites. But when I start out here, I mean, it definitely gives me a really good burn, a really good pump early in the morning. I think the first step in staying motivated is number one, set realistic goals, right? So, you want to set goals in terms of, some people may say, hey, look, I have fitness goals that I have, or I want to lose a certain amount of weight in a certain period of time. So, for me, I wouldn't recommend crash diet or anything that's just crazy where it's just like, hey, I got to lose about 10 pounds in about for 2 weeks. That's not realistic. So you want to set realistic goals. And as you set those realistic goals, you can strive for them, right? Or give yourself time. So if you want to lose weight, um, 20 pounds, let's just say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, 10 pounds a month. That's something that's obtainable. And of course, when you set those goals, you got to do the work, right? So you got to put that time in. So what is it going to take you to lose the 10, 20 pounds in a certain period of time? That starts with waking up in the morning and being motivated. Well, you got to motivate yourself to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get out and start walking. I'm going to take hikes, or I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to wake up early, put the work in early in the gym, and put together a plan, right? You also think about your meal plan. Start meal planning. I got to eat better. I got to cut out so much fried food and eat a little bit more healthier. Come on now. In this day and age of social media, there's no excuse. If you want to eat better, you certainly can do that. Just look it up. My daughter She lives on TikTok. We have so many different. We cook so many meals off of some TikTok influencer. Um, I mean, it's ridiculous. And even myself, when I'm trying to look for different uh, different ways of eating or habits of eating, I go to social media myself. Try to find different meals. So, meal planning. That's number 2. All right, family, I'm just leaving the gym. You know what? I could have finished, my conversation there in the gym, but you know what? I have respect, right? So there's boundaries. I don't want to record when a lot of people are around. Toward the end of my workout, a lot of people was coming up in the gym. So just have a level of respect. You know what I mean? Because one thing I don't like is like somebody just throwing cameras right in people's face, and I mean, you don't know what they're doing. I actually, for those who don't know, I do a lot of recruiting, and I recruit in cybersecurity, so it's a little bit different. You start looking at things a little bit different. But I want to continue the conversation. The conversation, as it continues, is obviously staying motivated. It's, of course, the whole topic of our discussion. The other point that I wanted to mention is consistency, right? Just being consistent, right? So, and what that means is this. Consistency is staying on that schedule. So if you have it in your mind that, you want to work out, you want to get fit, you want to lose weight, all right, so it's your plan. It's your plan. Make it a plan every day to get up in the morning. Now, here's the thing. Get up in the morning and do something in terms of working out, right? So I say this. For anybody, okay, there's a couple topics I want to talk about, right? Some people have like home gyms, and I want to give my philosophy of home gyms. I think home gyms are great, but if you're having to get up in your car and drive to a gym, there's a little bit of motivation there. And the reason why I say there's a little bit of motivation there is because now you've driven to the gym. You physically got in your car and you drove to the gym. The other part about that is once you get in the gym, you're seeing other people that are working out. Different shapes, different sizes. I mean, I can think back where I used to see guys, it could be a guy in a wheelchair, right? But he's in there putting in that work every single day. And I remember this guy was just pressing, he had 315 pounds, just pressing it like nothing, and just staying motivated. So he doesn't allow his disability to affect him. Also, the same goes for someone that maybe would be considered a little bit overweight. There was one gentleman, I mean, he was a heavier guy, but I'm gonna tell you, from the time I went into the gym, from the time I left, he stayed on that treadmill and he was running. So anyway, so consistency, right? Getting up in the morning, heading to the gym. Now you head to the gym, you're there. Now, the next thing is having a workout routine. Again, much like what I was saying about meal planning and looking to social media to meal prep. You also can do the same thing in terms of having your routine, a workout routine. Start with something small, just look it up in terms of like easy ways to start a workout, right? Or anything along those lines in terms of that subject. But then stick to the plan. Remain consistent. Okay, next I would recommend challenging yourself, right? You gotta challenge yourself. So challenge yourself to, number one, getting up in the morning, driving to the gym or getting to the gym or doing that walk, right? And doing that workout. So allow it to be, pick a workout that's going to challenge you a little bit, okay? You want to start out like, something that's reasonable and then kind of work your way up. But also after you challenge yourself, then you'll be able to reward yourself, right? Reward yourself for what you've done. Now, I often say that like how I reward myself is the weekends, those cheat days. I always talk about it, eating out, with the family, I can put together those foodie videos. But listen, challenge yourself, but also at the same time, you got to reward yourself. Okay, family. And my final suggestion is track your progress, right? I think it's important to go ahead and track your progress. So, I mean, in order to stay motivated, you want to see how far you've gone. right? In terms of setting this goal. So you set the goal of losing weight. You set the goal of being fit. You're going to the gym. You're consistent. Now you're tracking your progress. And how you track your progress is like it's the eye test, you know? When you get up in the morning, take a look at yourself. If you're staying consistent in terms of what you're doing, you're going to see the difference in your body. You're going to see the tone. You're going to see the definition. You're also going to just feel better. Also, your clothes are going to fit a whole lot better. So track your progress in that regard. Also, what happens is when you remain consistent and you're going to the gym, you're going to start developing some friendships, right? So like, depending on what time you go to the gym, I myself, like I go in early, I'm an early bird. So 5, 6 a.m. or whatever the case may be, it's a certain community of people that are there. And so what you're going to find is that the community of people are just going to they're going to greet you in the morning. They ask you how you're doing. And also, may even give you compliments in terms of like, how you're looking. So I think like creating that sense of community really helps out, with you tracking your progress. And then from there, you can develop some workout buddies, right? So you have some workout buddies that are consistent, they're going to be there to motivate you. So with all that being said, I say, listen, if you just follow these steps and you stay motivated, you're going to see some success in terms of your health and fitness and everything that you do. All right, so I'm going to end it right there. But also, again, if you're new to my channel, I definitely recommend, join the family. Go ahead and subscribe. Also, to my existing fam, hey, listen, thank you so much. You've helped me out tremendously. Right now, I think we're at about 1,500 subscribers, and we'll continue to grow. There's so much more that I'm going to share, and that's from the travel. I got some more travel videos coming up. Of course, the fitness videos and the motivation, and then of course I have what else am I doing? My mind just went blank. And just living my life in lifestyle, and so living my life and motivating you to do more. So also, kind of wanted to say this in terms of like the topic that I went over today. If anybody have any other suggestions, get down in the comment section, in terms of like, tell me what you do in terms of remaining consistent. Tell me what you do to stay motivated. So let's continue to motivate each other here on this platform and this community. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and also, hey man, continue to live your undefeated life. All right. I'll see you next time. Peace.